Jace Denman here for Flag Family Media. I'm with head coach Tim Bergstraser. Coach, kind of a tale of two different games last week. We talked to you after the Thursday game against Minot State, an incredible win, last-second shot, and then you guys went on the road out to Bismarck. University of Mary, tough place to play, but you got the victory there. What are your thoughts on those two games last week?
Well, Thursday was just a good old NSIC college basketball game to watch, and they had their lead, we had our lead, then it was a bunch of lead changes after that. I think just good basketball teams going at it, and with all those lead changes, we fortunately had that shot with Jakir. The plan was for him to get downhill at the rim, but him being the player he is, he stepped up and said, screw it, let's just end the game instead of going to overtime. So that's just the special type of player he is. We had a bunch of guys making plays before him on that. But yeah, for us to beat Minot, a very, very good basketball team, we got to be fortunate for that. It's a big deal. We made some mistakes, and that's just part of the game. But I think our guys, like always, they just found a way to win a basketball game. So, and then going to Mary, Friday, it's hard to do a lot. Our guys are pretty beat up, so it's a lot of walkthrough. It's more of a mental day preparation to get on the road. So going to Mary, like you said, it's never an easy place to play. Me as a player, as a coach, it's always been tough since I've gone there. I think our guys handled it pretty well. Like again, we made some mistakes. Like, what are we doing? The second half, I got a little frustrated with the guys. I think we were up like 32, and then we had like a 5-minute stint there, and it was bad basketball. We couldn't stop anybody. We had some good looks offensively, we just weren't making it. But they got it within 18 or something like that, I think.
Yeah, it got down even, I think it was 14, 15, something like that.
Yeah.
So they had gotten on quite a run, but then you guys at least locked in for that last couple of minutes of the game and put it away then.
I had to get that starting group back out there because it's like, all right, well, we got to tighten things up here again. And, we finished it out accordingly. But it's just more so telling the guys, like, at this point of the year, we got to really – that can't happen. So we need to play with a lot better decision-making skills. We need to play with better habits because we're prepping to get into the best time of the year right now.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's what I'm trying to get through their head. Is like we can't allow it to happen. Yes, it'll happen every once in a while. For it to happen for 5 to 7 minutes, that's just us getting loose. So and they understand that. We just got to shut it down earlier.
When we talked to you after Thursday's game, I told you the feeling I've had around this team is the fact that you kind of don't really know how it's going to happen, but you have a feeling this team's going to find a way to win. And when you found a way to win against Minot State, a ranked team, like you said, coming to your place, they had got something to prove, trying to get that series split with you guys. What does it say about this team to be able to continually find different ways to win, different guys stepping up? We saw Jacob Jennison go perfect from the field. Free throws, missed a couple there. But, I mean, you have different guys stepping up at times. So what does that say about this team when they can just continue to find ways to win?
Yeah, I mean, what I'm learning with this team is just, like you said, it's different guys every other night. We're trying to get them all to click at the same time, like I've stated on this before. But that's just kind of how this program's been. It could be any guy's night, and that's just the makeup of a good team. Like, if some guys maybe getting a little more attention, people are trying to take them out. It's like, all right, the next guy might get a little more freedom. You guys step up for this team. And I think that's what's been helping us. So at the same time with our program, I think we're doing all the little things. And, we need to keep growing and keep understanding we can't get loose on possessions, or we can't get loose in general because we're not always going to win pretty. I think that's proven after this year. But I do think our guys are doing the free throws, they're defending, they're rebounding, they're taking care of the ball. I think that's a really good equation to win basketball games, like I've said before. So we just got to keep doing that stuff really well. We can't get loose on scouts. All that stuff comes into it when trying to win a basketball game. Give yourself a chance to win a basketball game. So I think we're all understanding that. We're not always going to blow a team out. It hasn't happened a lot this year. I would love for it to happen more, but it's just understand this is who we are. It's going to be anybody's night at any point for our program, and then we just got to keep doing the little things really effectively.
Last week, you were able to get Jameer Price back on the court, and obviously maybe kind of more minutes than he anticipated in that Minot State game. But he came back, looked really good, looked just as good or better on Saturday then. But then now you're pairing that in addition to having Jameer back, who was one of your starters for most of the year. It seems as though when he was out, you had that Mankato game, it seemed like it really unlocked something for Jakir Sanchez. I don't know if it's confidence or just the shots flowing right now, but now you got both of those guys out there flowing really well, and then, don't forget about Jacob Benniga. So it seems like you're really kind of unlocking these guys and getting ready, and you're peaking, as we head into tournament time.
Yeah, like I've always said with transfers, it does take time.
Yeah.
Like Lorenzo McGee, I'll say he was the one guy that kind of just figured it out right away, and so it's rare. But Jameer and Jakir, they're playing really good basketball now. Jennison, he's playing really good basketball now because they're understanding how we do things. We're getting used to the league, the flow, the physicality, the speed. So having Jameer back was huge. it just sucked for him to go out the way he did because he was playing pretty dang
Yeah.
good. But for him to come back and play 34 minutes, I think, and I told him, I was like, yeah, I'm going to slowly get you back into the flow of games. And I made a comment of like, hey, man, you're looking a little tired out there. And he like looked at me. I was like, yeah, I mean, you have been out for 2.5 weeks, so that's shame on me.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to see him out there. You could tell how happy he was, just on the smile on his face when he got cleared. Jakir, he's been playing really good for us right now. He's got to tighten up a few things on the defensive end. I'm never going to let him off the hook on that. But for them to play that way, I think it just makes us much more of a dangerous team, enough to compete with anybody. And that's the biggest thing. We got to be able to compete against any team right now because everybody's playing their best basketball. So it's good for our program.
This weekend you've got Wayne State and you've got Augustana coming to town. What's it going to take to get victories against those two squads?
They're very similar, just more of how physical they are. They're going to love to play defense. They're going to make it really difficult for us offensively. Wayne State's going to try to muck it up. They're going to mix up defenses, 2-3 zone. They'll press every once in a while. They're going to get up in us anytime we're going to try to dribble the basketball or get open. So we're going to have to handle that pressure accordingly. They got a couple guys that can really fill it up. I mean, they got a guy off the bench. Last time we played him, he had like 20-some points. And they got a couple. Millender, he's another guy that's a starter. I mean, he could go out for 20, and then they just got really good, tough SOBs around him. So we're going to have to be ready to answer that because they're playing good basketball right now. And we just can't be surprised. I think that's the biggest thing going to this weekend in general. And then going against Augie, they're big, they're physical, they're going to play extremely hard. They got a couple guys that could go off for 30 or 40 if you let them get comfortable. So we're just going to have to handle some chaos and physicality and pressure and just not be surprised by it. I think that's the biggest thing going into the weekend.
Well, it's that time of year when you're having those second matchups against teams. It's always tough for the second time to beat them. So obviously best of luck this weekend, Coach. We'll be there watching you. So this is Jace Denman along with head coach Tim Bergstraser of your MSUM Dragons. We'll talk to you soon.